We're making noises like vroom, vroom, ch-ch, ah, whoo. That's right, it's Soundbox from Horrible Guild. In this co-op noise-making party game, 4 to 7 players work as a team to successfully guess each other's keywords and phrases hinted at by only mouth sounds. If the players can get their progress token to the end of the soundtrack, they win the game. Setup begins with the game board placed center. The game board has a sound track on top and a heartbreak track on bottom. Depending on the number of players, set the appropriate side face up. Side A is for 4 or 6 players, side B is for 5 or 7 players. Next, shuffle the sound cards into a deck and draw 10 cards, placing them next to slots numbered 1 through 10. Then take the tokens marked 11 through 20 and place them on the matching spaces of the soundtrack. Take the remaining tokens 1 through 10 and put them in the audio bag. Give it a healthy little shake, like a Polaroid picture, or that booty. Place the game markers on the board, including the double sound markers and progress marker on their spaces of the sound track, and the heart marker on the starting space of the heartbreak track. Set the sand timer nearby, or use the timer web app. There's a QR code in your rulebook. Apps, it's the future. Finally, give the guesser glasses to the last player who listened to a song on the radio. In a 6 or 7 player game, give the recorder glasses to the player 3 seats to the left of the guesser. All other players will take on the role of sound makers for the first round. Gameplay is divided into rounds, each divided into 3 steps: sound making, naturally, guessing, and cleanup. First, in the sound making step, the guesser looks at all the sound cards currently on display next to the game board. Once they're ready, they can put on the guesser glasses over their eyes. You should not be able to see. That's why there's no holes in these glasses. Next, each sound maker draws a number token from the audio bag, privately looks at it, then sets the token face down in front of them. That number corresponds to a number on the board which aligns with the sound card. Once everyone is ready, start the timer. Sound makers now have 13 seconds to make the sound they think best represents their sound card, while the guesser does their best to listen. The recorder, if they're in the game, attempts to memorize all the sounds made at this time. Once the timer expires, all sounds must cease. Next, in the guessing step, the guesser removes the glasses and attempts to guess which sound cards players were trying to imitate. By simply pointing at one card, they commit to their guess. If one of the sound makers had that token matching the card, they now reveal it and congratulate the guesser. The guesser then takes that card and places it in front of them. They may then make another guess of a sound card. They keep guessing as long as they make correct guesses until all the sound makers' tokens have been revealed. But if at any time they make a guess that was not assigned to a sound maker, the guessing step immediately ends. If the recorder is in the game, they keep their glasses on in this step and cannot talk, but they can try to reproduce sounds they heard in the sound making step to help the guesser. Finally, in the cleanup step, players prepare for the next round. Reveal all the number tokens in front of sound makers that were not guessed. Move the heart marker down 1 space on the heartbreak track for each heartbreak symbol on those tokens. Then, move the progress marker forward a number of spaces on the soundtrack equal to the correctly guessed sound cards in front of the guesser. If the progress marker reaches or passes a space on the soundtrack with a number token, add that token to the audio bag. This increases the number of sound cards that will be available in future rounds. Return all number tokens to the audio bag and remove correctly guessed sound cards from the game. Replenish the empty sound card spaces, including any newly unlocked spaces. Then pass the guesser glasses and recorder glasses, if they're in your game, to the left. Then a new round begins. One other mechanic in Soundbox, the double sound markers. These are best left out of your first few games since they'll make it a bit harder. If they're in your game, once the progress marker reaches their space, the double sound marker must be assigned to a player who is not currently the guesser, the recorder, or if they already have a double sound marker. At the end of a round, these markers may be reassigned to other players if desired. During the sound making step, any player with a double sound marker must draw 2 number tokens from the audio bag instead of 1, meaning they also have to provide sounds for 2 cards. Some spaces on the heartbreak track remove these tokens from the game. Rounds continue with players making sounds, taking guesses, and generally having a pleasantly confusing time. The game ends in defeat if the heart marker reaches the final space on the broken heart track. But if players can get that progress marker all the way to the crown space on the soundtrack, they win the game. The team should note their progress on the broken hearts track and try and beat that score in future games. And that's the basics of Soundbox. I'm Becca Scott, this is Good Time Society, and give this video a and make sure you to the channel, and you can watch me and my friends play this game and other awesome games on Gameplayed here on Good Time Society. See you later.